Yes, let's speak to Mr. Norbert Gborgbortsi. He is the former Deputy Communications Director of CCT Ghana. Hello, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, my.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Right, so tell us why you have resisted attempt to touch funds under the debt exchange program.
Thank you.
Right.
Um, Asking why we are resisting for our funds to be touched. Everyone in Ghana here knows the amount that is paid to the public sector worker at the end of the month.
Mm.
We call it take home, but it doesn't take us home. It is with this that most of these public sector workers, their unions and associations came together about 4 years ago, arrived at carving out a second and a third tier pension scheme so that it will better the lot of workers even after retirement. Now, you quite remember these monies were stuck with government, and government was supposed to release the money to the operational schemes so that at the end of retirement, these workers will go home with something better. But it took over 2 to 3 years for government to even release about 30% of this amount to these schemes. So it means that the fund itself has heavily been affected, and it is not yielding the needed profit so that at the end of the day, workers will go home with something. Then you come up to say that notwithstanding, things have gotten to a level that you needed to use these funds for a debt exchange program. Who is doing that? Who caused the problem? If the man or the person that caused the problem give us an assurance in first year in their budget and it couldn't happen, second year they read a budget, gave it a name, you could hear a budget, whatever budget. If all these budgets have not yielded any positive results, what makes you think that if the little funds that is left for workers is being touched, it is going to better the fortunes of this country? So what government want to do, public sector workers are totally out. They don't want neither their salaries nor their any of their funds, be it pension funds or whatever funds, to be touched. If that happens, government will face the wrath of the workers across the country.
I see. Were you invited for any form of discussions before the policy was announced?
To the best of my knowledge, no one was invited. Nobody has been invited. No one was taken through any program or any form of information or even in-service training to abreast ourselves with any information.
All right. But you have also said that it will be suicidal for any government to touch your funds under and raffle teachers financially. Kindly shed more light on this for me.
I didn't hear you well.
Right. So you've also said in your press release that it will be suicidal for any government to touch your funds and unraffle it.
Oh, yes. It clearly tells the level of anger of us public sector workers. And we are signing a caution of warning to government that should they take any such actions, it will be very suicidal. And you know what public sector workers can do. You know the level at which they can walk up to. So we don't want it to get there. Government should look for other avenues of getting funds, of restoring whatever has gone amiss currently. But if it is about touching the funds of public sector workers, whether it is a pension fund or whatever fund, we are just not ready for it. And if you look at the press statement, it's also stated that we are not ready for any negotiations. We are not ready for any negotiations on our pension funds.
I see. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir. Have a great day.
You're welcome.
Right, so that was Norbert Gborgbortsi. He is the former Deputy Communications Director of CCT GH. Albert